Rev up your engines!
Well, here we go, GM, with more stupid decisions. Now they say they're going to end the production of their electric car, the EV Bolt. It's America's cheapest. They're selling a bunch of them, so their whole thing is, oh, well, we'll stop making those. Hey, you got something that's popular, right? Oh, don't sell that. We'll try to sell our other crap to people, right? These corporations, they're dead from the neck up, right? Now, these things start at $27, but with the tax credit, you can get them for $20. That is cheap for a new car these days, right? And yeah, they had problems and stuff with the batteries and things that they were getting from the Koreans that they had to recall them and stuff. But people are buying them, right? Smaller cars and electricity, they kind of go together if you're going to use a battery, right? Less weight, don't need such a large battery. You can make them cheaper, right? Sell them cheaper. And why are they going to stop making them? They want to switch their factory over to make electric trucks, right? Now, if you know anything about electric trucks, they're really not that popular with truck people. Of course, they're trying to push the thing out, right? They have a successful electric vehicle. Now, what do? Oh, let's ditch that. Showing why the Japanese make better vehicles than the Americans. Because they gradually make them better. Toyota, Honda, gradually make them better. Americans like, hey, we got a successful electric vehicle. Oh, let's throw that away. And now we'll make electric trucks instead. Why not make them both, right? As I've been saying for years, small electric battery cars make the most sense. Small ones, not big ones, not trucks. But of course, GM, what do? They make their profit on SUVs and trucks. So that's what they want to make. SUVs and trucks do not fit into the electric battery system unless there's a radical change in the batteries, how long they can last, how far they can go, how fast they can recharge without self-destructing. But no, they're throwing away the baby with the bathwater. Oh, we don't like that. We got a new platform, blah, blah, blah. Throw away something that's successful. You're selling a bunch of it. Replace it with a more expensive electric truck that, as I've said, a lot of people, you ask truck people, they're not into electric trucks. They're going to hit a wall there. And I'll be laughing. These corporate guys, they have no notion of what they're actually doing. Well, guess what? Now the people who bought electric cars are complaining that it's increasingly frustrating to do home charging where most people charge their cars. It turns out that their electricity rates go up. You use more electricity. In many places, the more electricity you use per kilowatt hour, you use over so many kilowatts, and they start charging you more rates. And that the charging speed is slow in their area. You might think it's bad that many places are paying like 14.96 cents per kilowatt hour, but if you use over more than a certain amount of kilowatts, guess what? Then they raise it even higher. And the funny thing is, you can't use a level 1 charger in your house unless you got the patience of a saint. Some cars will take 2.5 days to charge at that, so nobody's going to do that. So they put the level 2 chargers that are at 220 volts, which are faster. But here's the funny thing. The early people who bought cars and put a level 2 chargers, they were happy that they could do it in 5 to 8 hours or something, right? But now, the 2022 and 2023 EV owners, they're dissatisfied with the level 2 chargers. They're saying that takes too long because, of course, they've been bought into this thing. Oh, the superchargers, they can charge your car up in, 15 minutes or 30 minutes, right? They're finding that it still takes a long time with a level 2 charger to fully charge these things. And, of course, the government always chimes in that it's a good thing, Oh, the Inflation Reduction Act says it's going to bring energy costs down. It says families that take advantage of clean energy and EV tax credits will save more than $1,000 a year. Baloney. You got to pay to put the chargers in your house, right? And then you got to buy an electric car that costs so much money. You're not saving $1,000 a year. You buy an electric car that goes between $50,000 and $150,000 a year. You're not saving anything. You're losing money as fast as you can possibly lose it. All the lies that have been told by the government to people, now the people that bought the electric cars, they're finding the reality of the situation. Their electric rates go up because they're using more power. It takes a lot more time to recharge them than they thought it was going to take, and that they're not saving $1,000 a year. They're throwing money out the window. I had the same thing happen with people I know in Rhode Island. They looked into putting solar panels on. The smart people looked at it, they analyzed it, they crunched the numbers. They said, geez, it'll take us 30 years to break even on this, and there's no way these solar panels are going to last 30 years. The batteries aren't going to last 30 years, then they'll have to put even more money in. And a lot of people don't think about this with solar panels. It's on your roof, right? It's not shingles. It's on top of your roof, right? What does the average roof last? How are you going to re-roof the roof with the solar panels on it? You'd have to take them all off, re-roof and put them on. We're talking about a gigantic cluster mess over time. And, oh, it's going to save you $1,000 a year? No, it isn't. When you have to do the roof over, it's going to cost you 2 to 3 times as much. Take everything off. Solar panels, put a new roof, put it back on. And then when the solar panels break down after so many years and the batteries, you got to do it all over and spend, $80, $90, $100,000 or more. You're not saving any money. The whole thing is a farce pulled by the government. People thought that Tesla's full self-driving technology was a lie and they shouldn't even be allowed to call it full self-driving. Well, they should have never called it the Inflation Reduction Act. If anything, it's making inflation go sky high, not come down. Chef Wolf 77 says, what are your thoughts on Pep Boy? I was looking at Pep Boy's Auto Center in Lubbock, Texas. What do you think of it? All right, well, realize those are chain stores. Chain stores do one thing. They want to sell you a bunch of crap. So generally, the service writer, his whole idea is to look at you and see how much crap can he sell you. That's just the way they want to go. Now, from my experience of them in Texas, they were horrendous. The workers, they'd hire anybody. They had a hard time finding anybody that would work in a Pep Boys. They didn't have really qualified mechanics doing the work. And again, they'd be selling you all kinds of stuff you may not even need, but they didn't have top-notch mechanics that are going to be analyzing a modern car. I've never been to the ones in Lubbock, so I can't talk about one particular thing. But generally, chain repair shops are money makers for the owner of the shop, and he gets the service writers, the guys that sell you the stuff, that are supposed to tell you what's wrong with the car, to sell you as much as they possibly can. It's just the game that's played in any kind of a chain store. They're there to make money. And often, they don't have the greatest mechanics in the world. And a lot of times, I had experience with Firestones where they'd work on somebody's engine, the engine broke down, and they contacted Firestone, and Firestone told the people who had the car worked on, they are not allowed to work on car engines in our Firestone. We have a contract with them that they can't do major repairs. But the guys were doing major repairs anyways. So then you couldn't sue Firestone. You'd have to sue the individual who owned the place. That's the problem with all those things. Who's running it? You never know who's running it. And generally, the chain stores are just this guy who owns it makes a lot of money, then the service writers try to sell as much as they can to the people that are coming in, and the guys that are actually doing the work generally are not all that experienced, from my opinion. 54 years of working on cars, I gotta say, the guys that I saw work at those places weren't really that great mechanics. When I was in Houston, I see some of them, and they got tats up and down their arms. They just got out of Huntsville prison. That's the job that they could get, and they were paid a little bit over minimum wage. So you don't have people that are getting paid much. They don't have great training. It's not exactly a place you'd want to take your car to get fixed most of the time. Jeannie says, my 2013 Tiguan transmission is slightly slipping. Should I attempt to change the fluid in that closed system? In quotation marks. Well, here's the problem. It's a Volkswagen Tiguan. Unfortunately, you bought one and they are garbage. They're absolute garbage as they age. Volkswagens just are. They have crappy transmissions. Yours is starting to go out. You could try if you want. Maybe it'll help, but I can just about guarantee you the stupid thing is wearing out. That's what happens to those things. It's now 10 years old, and that's pretty much the lifespan of most of those Tiguans. They're poorly made. They cost a fortune to repair when they go. Yeah, when they run great. They're really fun to drive, like a Porsche. Volkswagen also owns Porsche, right? So, great when they're running, and when they break, they cost so much money, you'll probably never buy another one. I don't have a single customer in the last 20 years who ever bought a Volkswagen and then bought a second one. They said, horrible cars, I'll never buy another one. Car Fowler says, one thing I haven't seen online is this. What kind of reduction in range is caused by running the AC with electric vehicles? Well, it depends on the vehicle, but you do lose quite a bit of range. Air conditioning takes energy to compress the refrigerant, blow it around, then fans blow it in your face. So it uses energy. And in the case of electric vehicles, it's electrical energy. I had customers that had them, and they said in the heat of Texas, they could lose upwards of 25% of their range turning the AC on. And vice versa, if you're up north in the winter where it's really cold, some of these electric cars, you turn the electric heater on, they'll lose 25% or more of their range, heating themselves up so they don't freeze to death in the cold weather. They never talk about any of that crap when they're trying to sell you an electric car, but that's the truth. You're using energy, either running an AC system or running a heat system in the winter. Losing energy, and it's all created by electricity. You're going to lose range. That's just how it goes. And it depends on the size of your battery, the type of vehicle you have, how old it is, but you lose range in all of them. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.